What's going on, everyone? Data Report here with the Wednesday edition of the Pandemic Update video. Today I thought we would start things a little bit differently and talk about an international issue first. Active COVID-19 cases in India rise to 7,026. Country reports 5 deaths. The cases are starting to rise in India. They have a new variant. It's XBB 1.16. And that is another descendant of the XBB family, which is a descendant of the Omicron family. And this kind of really takes me back to 2021. Does anyone remember in 2021 when the vaccine came out? Yes, we saw somewhat of a spring wave, but then cases got so very low, it felt like things were normal again. But we knew in the spring of 2021 that Delta was exploding in India and causing massive problems. It really feels like that again now. Active cases in India are rising. Some countries in Europe are starting to see a rise, and it's just super concerning. And I think ultimately, sooner or later, that variant's going to come over here, and immunity will have waned. We'll see this period of dropping eventually come to an end, and things will take off again here in the United States. I'm no magician. I can't say when that's going to happen. I tried to predict when it was going to happen based on previous years. Right now, we're just not seeing it yet. But it's only a matter of time. What happens elsewhere in the world is eventually going to be a problem here in the United States. So at some point, we're going to see another massive COVID wave, but right now, we're not seeing it yet. Alrighty, taking a look at wastewater data. And as you can see here in the data, you still have pretty much the same thing going on with one slight change. There's an ever so slight decrease in the number of high or moderate areas in the Great Lakes region, but still, there's far too many moderate transmission areas. We're not seeing any increases in the Northeast, with exceptions to one region in New York. That would be southern New York. You see there are now 4 areas that have moderate transmission. I seem to think that's more than we saw last week. Here's one right here, Tioga County, New York. Now this is a very small sewer shed population, 3,750, but look here. Wow, this particular one's really rising. How about this other one over here? Here's another one, Delaware County, New York. Again, that's small, but it's rising. This one is starting to drop, and this is a slightly bigger sewer shed, 38,000 people serviced under that. Then we come over here to Tompkins, 9,770 people under this, and it is slightly starting to drop. So something we'll have to watch. Maine, we still have some moderate transmission sites, but as you saw, like this one, here's a high one. Very small population at this sewer shed. 1,759, and I don't know if that includes the fact that some of these residences are summer residents and there's no one there right now. I don't know, but it is dropping there, so it would be nice to erase that high transmission at that site. The South, not doing bad. Florida, still no update there today, but you would think Florida starts to rise pretty soon with spring breakers flooding Florida. We'll just have to see what happens. The West Coast, not terrible. There are still some moderate to high transmission sites in California, but the big one, down in LA, is not yet rising. Moving on to the transmission map. 1,129 counties are in high transmission. 726 are in substantial transmission. 986 are in moderate transmission, and 381 are in low transmission. You can see here along the I-95 corridor, this is really impressive. A large swath of counties along the I-95 corridor are now down to moderate transmission. That's something we haven't seen in a long time. And you could say that's some good news, but moderate transmission, it's still risky out there. Taking a look here at the COVID variant proportions, you will not see the new variant that I'm talking about in India yet. Maybe it pops up on the Friday update, I don't know. But Omicron, XBB 1.5 is still at 90.2%. BQ 1.1 is at 3.5%. XBB is at 2.5%. XBB 1.5.1 is at 2.2%. And you have a whole bunch of other smaller ones that are below 1%. Taking a look here at New York State, they did go above 1,000 cases today. 1,040 cases reported today. The positivity was up today. 3% positivity. 7-day average is 2.5%. Taking a look at New York State hospitalizations, 1,226. That number dropped. ICUs, 129. That is up ever so slightly from yesterday's 123. So that is up by 6. Texas, as last I checked, they did not update for this week, and they still have not. It's expected to come in at some point today. It should be in maybe later today. And when it comes in, I'll put a tweet out about that later on, and we'll have it in tomorrow's video. So can't really report on that just yet. Taking a look here at BNO from yesterday, and you can see U.S. COVID update. Yesterday there was 14,975 new cases. We know that's a significant undercount for many reasons, including this. Only 12 states reported yesterday out of 50. In the hospital, that number did rise slightly by 403. They report that there's 20,931 people in the hospital. ICUs did increase ever so slightly, 2,773. Deaths, there were 183 new deaths yesterday. The average daily deaths is dropped by 5 to 308. Taking a look at Walgreens, a little bit of a different picture today from yesterday. Remember all those red states we had in the West? They don't exist today. However, we do see some changes in the Northeast. Maine is slightly starting to rise again. Current week's positivity is 29.6%. Prior week was 27.1%. That's a difference of up 2.5%. Total tests, though, is down. 27 this week, 48 last week. Vermont is showing up bright red here, but we're not getting any data out of Vermont. It's coming up blank, so I would love to know what's going on there. And let's take a look at the chart if we can. The chart does show it's starting to rise again. If that is even accurate, because again, they're coming up blank. Delaware, sharp sudden rise here. Current week 27.3%, prior week 20.3%. That is up by 7%. Testing is down slightly, but again, that's a big rise. Current week 55, previous week 64 tests. West Virginia is experiencing a legitimate rise. 22.5% is the current week positivity. Prior week is at 18.8%. The difference of up 3.4%. Testing is also up. 40 tests this week, 32 last week. Ohio, another legitimate rise, and that's a neighbor to West Virginia, so this is concerning. 26.7% positivity this week, 23.9% last week. Difference of up 2.9%. 430 tests this week, 427 tests last week. North Carolina, 22.8% positive this week, 19.6% last week. That is a difference of up 3.2%. Current week's positivity is, or current week's testing is 513. Prior week, 596. Let's take a look at Florida. Florida is ever so slightly starting to rise on the Walgreens positivity. 24.2% this week. Prior week was 23.4%. That is up by 0.8%. Let's take a look at Illinois. Illinois' positivity is down. 28.1% this week. 29.4% last week. That's down by 1.3%. Texas, 25.6% positivity this week, 26.7% last week. Positivity is down by 1.1%, and testing is significantly down. 1,618 tests this week, 2,172 tests last week. We'll do two more. California, 24.1% positive this week, 27% last week. That's down by 2.9%, and testing is also down this week with 974 tests this week, 1,262 tests last week. Alaska is seeing a significant drop in positivity, and this comes with an increase in testing. 15.6% positivity this week, 27.5% last week. That's down by 11.9%. 45 tests this week, 40 tests last week. Taking a look here now at some international data. Russia cases are up 5% this week. Testing's down 18% last week. Brazil cases are up 11% this week. Deaths are up 5% as well. Taking a look At Taiwan, cases down 18%, deaths down 17%, Japan down 19% on cases, also 33% on deaths. Then we come down here to some rising territory. Chile is up 8% this week on cases, 1% on deaths. Mexico is up 16% on cases, but down 16% on deaths. Ukraine cases are now up 20%. Deaths are up 37% in Ukraine. Romania is up 19% on cases and up 30% on deaths. India, like we just told you at the start of this video, India is not doing too well. I'm concerned about India because they do have a new variant that's ongoing there. I don't know if it's going to be a long duration wave or it's going to be one of the quicker Omicron waves. Only time will tell, but we have to continue watching. Their cases are up 89%. And their deaths are up 71%. The only good news is, yesterday they were up over 100%. So this number has dropped ever so slightly. We also see Iran. Iran cases are up 63%. Their deaths are up 49%. Belgium, here's some good news. Cases are down 68%. Deaths are down 68%. South Africa, cases are up 21%. They're not reporting on their deaths. I don't know why. And we'll just end on UAE. UAE cases are up 38%, and again, they're also not reporting on their deaths this week. Finally, I do want to take a look at flu numbers in the United States. Flu numbers, New York City is at high transmission. Washington, D.C. is now down to moderate transmission. New Jersey's down to moderate transmission. High activity still in New Mexico, and moderate activity in California. And we also have moderate activity in Puerto Rico. Low activity in Virginia, but borderline almost pushing moderate. The rest of the country is at low activity, which is some good news. Alright, that does it for today's pandemic update video. We will do another one tomorrow. There were no new COVID outbreaks today, and there were also no new COVID positives that I found today, so that's some good news. If you're new to my channel, subscribe down below. If you really like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below, and it helps the channel grow. I'm trying to get this information out to more people. Again, we'll have another update again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe everyone, and thanks for watching.